Hello YouTube! I have been asked a lot of questions regarding the Viessa build that I'm currently running. We're gonna make a quick guide. So, first things first, this is a very expensive build. Like, we are talking about at least 6. On a normal Viessa, you're gonna go for like 9. 9 changes because you need to pretty much every single slot in here needs to be modified. That means even your kick. If you guys didn't know, if you add a module, so if you add like a socket type, for I'm not really sure does it matter which one you put. I put the same one, but for here, if you put, you get like extra 5 points, but this one is the final on a sub attack. So this is the final thing that you need to do, but every single one of these needs to be modified. Obviously, because Ultimate Viessa gets like with the 4 formas, this one was like easier to level up. But yeah, normal Viessa will also work. The reason being, we are only using Cold Bloodness. Every other, if you go under the modules, when it comes to like Viessa, not a single other one is actually good. Cold Snap Watch is interesting. It's like a fun one to play around, but the thing is, the cooldown on the third ability for the Cold Snap, it's way too long, right? And because the Cold Bloodness is the only skill in here, the mod that reduces the skill cooldown, which is like the primary thing for Viessa, is the only one viable. Whoever suggested Hypothermia, like no. Like, this thing is ass. Glacial Cloud, absolutely ass. Like, none of these. Like, I haven't tried Cold Cohesion, but this one reduces the Ice Sphere passive by 5 seconds. The thing is, with this build, like the maximum cooldown reduction Viessa build, that passive ends up being literally 2 seconds. Like, you can't reduce it. You can reduce it like 0.1 more, but that's it. Like, this is the lowest you can go. So first things first, you have to max out skill cooldown. So every single, so we have a skill cooldown here, and we have the skill cooldown in the, where is it, if I can actually find it. Okay, MP conversion. So this puts us at a 62%. The thing is, we also have 2 more additional ways to like reduce the cooldown, and that is pretty much through this. So your reactor requires to have a skill cooldown, and it has to be a legendary. Reason being, there is 2 different ways we can build it, right? If you don't have it, like if you don't get the reactor with a skill cooldown, which you should, the only other way you can get it is pretty much grabbing like Focus on Chill. This is one thing that you can add to the build, so that would require you to change a socket though. That would require to change a socket, and absolutely nothing in this one can be changed except maybe like the resource one. This one I would say that is the only optional one. Without Spear and Shield, you're way too squishy, and Viessa is one of those characters because we are spamming the skills literally all the time. So you can see here, like my ultimate right now is pretty much maxed out. It's like 6 seconds, and everything else, if I want to spam it, I can do as much, but problem is like the mana regen is both mana regen and mana cost. Like, it's very important for this build. Like, we have very little downtime, so if we are actually firing like we are firing a gun, we don't have like maybe 2 seconds of free time. So yes, you can definitely play without the resource. We can check it out, but like it doesn't feel good though. This build doesn't feel good with without the resource cost reduction. Yeah, this is the skills we're gonna be talking about, because they are pretty much the main way to increase the damage on it. And where is the HP? I mean, you also have the option of that. Like, this build, you can just remove HP and become absolutely a glass cannon and get hit and one shot by everything. That will also work. That will also work. So if that is what you care about, like the damage, this is one option that you can go for. I would not suggest it though, but it is possible. So I'm gonna try to do like the maximum hit damage after like we are done with the video, but for the sake of it, so crit and skill cooldowns are the main things that we need to do. So skill cooldown here and skill cooldown of MP conversion. So these ones too mandatory. Same goes with the crit. So front lines, there is like literally 4 crit mods in the entire game, and if you could, I would add like all 4 of them. So we are adding the front lines. This one is mandatory along with the emergency measures. So this here all mandatory. Same goes with the skill extension. Skill extension is like on Viessa is very interesting skill though, right? Since her ulti Blizzard. So this one is a duration skill. So it hits like initially and it has a duration. So duration of 6 seconds means that this skill is gonna hit 3 times. duration of 8.5 seconds. It means that this skill is gonna hit actually 5 times, not 4. And the reason being, every time you increase the duration on Viessa, like so it says here damage interval is like 2 seconds each, right? But as soon as you increase it by only 1 second, that 3 hits are gonna become 4. But basically, as soon as you increase it over the 6 seconds, it's gonna add another tick. So at 8 seconds, it's gonna be 4 ticks. Everything above 8 is gonna add like a 5th tick. So as long as the 2 seconds has passed, it's gonna add like another tick. And you want to have it. So with the way that we set up the build itself, let's put back the extension. We can have two of these running like at all times. So there is one going right now. If I add another one, the final one is gonna explode and the other one is still off. And that is why like the gun itself really doesn't matter. Like this build, I refuse to fire a gun, so I want to have as much skill cooldown as possible. And this is, I think, pretty much the only class in a game who can actually get to like maximum. So you can't go past the 90% crit cooldown reduction. Like there's a hard coded in. Like if you add the cooldown reduction on all the gear that you can, it will not go past. So if this skill is 60 seconds, it won't go below like 6 seconds. That is the maximum it can go. Like I don't have the perfectly rolled gear, but as I said, if you add instead of if I would add like just like focus and chill on top of everything here, now this would be maxed out. It doesn't go, it wouldn't, actually I think my buff is gone. Since cold bloodness adds like 20% from here, you can see it right here though. This one adds the cooldown of cooldown reduction of 20% on top of everything else that we got. So what we end up with is like 6 seconds cooldown. So this is the maximum. That is why I didn't put the focus on chill, but you can actually go with this. This is probably the hardest hitting setup that you can have on Viessa right now. So it is great, but we don't need, like we can't benefit that much from the flat skill power because we already have enough. The only thing that is very good when it comes to like increasing our damage through the skill power is like the most like spear and shield. Spear and shield is very unique because if you remove it right now, this one has like a very different so as you can see here, every single one of these like skill boost ratios is like a multiplier. So the more of them we add, the more damage we do. The thing is, when we add spear and shield, it has its own skill multiplier as well. That is what makes this one absolutely insane for pretty much any skill build. So if I go under like my stats sheet again, I'm gonna end up with a base skill multiplier of 0. So this one is another multiplier on top of everything else that we are doing. So that one is like very strong in its own, and it's a defense mode. So it's not like the offensive mode, and it's a very strong defense mode. So there is a big difference as well there. If I remove that one, like if we check the damage now, it says like here 377. Man, when I want to do the normal attack, everything starts to hit, everything starts to crit. How great, man. Alright, so we're just gonna remove that one. And also, like, where is my other skill? The crit one. Actually, I had a wrong one. Now, this is gonna be the maximum damage that we can do. Yeah, that made no sense. Okay, there we go. Like 1.5 millions around here. There is like few more ways that you can increase it, but not by that much. You can add a full polar set. We're gonna talk about the external components later. You can add this one as well. Actually, is this one polar set? It is super strong, but problem is it's very hard to keep up if you're not firing a gun. So I'll go over it in a bit, but that's the full set that you want to have, and the rolls on it are really not that good, which makes it very difficult to build around. Like I have a full set, but I have like 0 defense with it, because not a single, I think it's only one mode that can actually roll. Yeah, so like entire set has like 0 main stat of a defense, and that is a big problem for like characters like Viessa, because we need the defense to survive. Like we need at least 20k to feel good. because we do get a lot of aggro because we just keep spamming our ultimates, and from majority of the bosses will stick to you because you have to be close as well. For the second piece of the way that the class works, right? Our ice sphere, they don't really have that big of a range, and you need to be basically on top of the boss in order to actually like proc this, so it actually attacks the boss. Expansion is another one that you can maybe try to play without. I tried it, and this is probably the worst thing to take off. Every single boss in this game just likes to walk a mile away every time you do anything, and since Viessa is the class that can just like front load the damage, right? You have to drop the skill and you have to wait for it to proc. So if you don't put any range on this skill, it will literally hit once and never again. Because if the boss steps away even like to here, it will literally be impossible to hit it with anything. Like the range right now, I think it's around here. That it will. The final hit is like larger though. The final hit is a bit larger, but as you can see here, it's already not hitting. Like it's already not hitting, and that is with the extension. And if I remove that one, this build just doesn't feel as good as it should. That is why like my farm build has like both. It has a double range ones, just so you can actually hit stuff. So if I put it like let me see, I think like around here. Yeah, it already can hit from here though. That is why you basically lose 90% of your damage if the thing doesn't hit, right? So you're forced to use it. And it is just like in general it's better because every single skill we got will benefit from it. Like Viessa has like a huge range when it comes to like attacking abilities, so adding more range is great though. Especially like on bosses like Obstructor. It's she's probably like the best class in the entire game for Obstructor fights. She can solo like when I'm doing it, I can solo pretty much all 3 portals with double maximum range. That is why, as I said, it's very difficult to build anything around how to scale damage. But since every single ability of her already has like a huge multipliers, like even the third skill, right? As you can see here, is getting reduced because we are using the maximum conservation. Skill power modifier doesn't really affect that much damage on Viessa. So anything with a skill power modifiers like this don't really influence her damage that much. So you're totally free to use it. Like I could use the less resource one. Where is it? For 15%, but you don't really gain all that much. As I said, it's much better to use as much skill cost cooldown because you're gonna be spamming a lot, and if you don't have enough mana in combat, mana recovery in combat, this build you're gonna go out of mana in like 3 seconds. So expansion, all of this is pretty much the perfect build. Well, this one is the glass cannon, I guess. Like you can remove that one. It does seem to add like quite a bit of damage when you add all the modifiers in it, but since we need like at least 3 crit modes attached to the build, we literally have no space. We literally have nowhere to add it, so that is pretty much it. The only thing you can try to remove is this one if you want to add like focus and chill, but I wouldn't suggest it though. Like that damage gain is decent, but the amount of resource cost, you're gonna not you won't be able to spam as much as I do. So that is for mode. As I said, like the very slight difference. If you want like more AoE, you just remove the spear and shield. I use the spear and shield only for like some bosses, not every single one needed. But if you're farming like something that teleports a lot, like Dead Bride, for example, you don't need spear and shield. You can just add maximum range, so you hit as much as possible. But yeah, you need at least one skill, one range skill to actually start hitting properly with your ulti. Now I'm gonna go through quickly like what gun options we have. Right now, this is the only 2 options you want to go to with: Blue Beetle and Clairvoyance. As I said already, with Clairvoyance is great because it's gonna help you as well build the stacks for your 4 set bonus. With this one, you don't have to worry. Pretty much any gun is gonna work for it as well, but this one is kinda easier to like equip Frostbite because it is the frost gun in itself, and it does increase the damage. One thing is, I think this is like Legion of Immortality. They have 0 resistance against chill, so like this gun doesn't actually do anything. Like I don't do more damage if I like debuff the mob. So like that chill debuff doesn't really affect the DPS on them. It is good on bosses though. Any single boss, it will you will see the DPS increase, and mine is only the base. The big difference is this one is not that good at the base level. Just like most of the ultimate guns, it is not good at base level because the negative stat, once you max it out, is gonna be gone. And beam rifle charging speed is probably like the most important beam rifle stat, because it affects how fast you are going. So it has like 3 different like damage states, right? It starts at 1, it needs to get to 2, and then at 3 is like a maximum damage state. This is where you do like the most damage, but it also like applies the debuff only on the second pile, like on the second one. As you can see here, it takes about 2 seconds to actually apply a debuff, which will drop pretty much to like less than a 1 second. It will drop to less than a 1 second once it's fully activated. But I don't think this one will end up being the main gun. If we still had a mod that reduced the defense, it would be the best in slot gun for... actually, it would be probably like best in slot for anybody, because it would run like a minus defense. But the mod is removed from the game, so that one is... it is good, but I think the Blue Beetle will be better. So reason being, this is the only one that can increase our skill crit hit rate. Problem is also like it doesn't increase, so we only have with our build right now, since we are not using this, we are not using the mod we are using is for the damage, it's not for the skill crit. So very big difference is like Insight is the one that increases the crit itself. This is the skill crit hit damage, and this one is the major one. Like this is your main damage multiplier in the game, because as I said, base damage of VS is already good enough. You just need crit. You don't care about adding like more skill power. It won't scale as good as any of the crit ones. So we basically added all 3 that increase skill hit damage. That is why her polar set is very strong, but it's also like very difficult to like keep up, because it's not guaranteed. But if you get this one, that's an additional 60% skill hit damage, and it's gonna be noticeable. So if you see my crit right now, it's 28, and that one increases the 10%. So if I get the buff now, let me switch it to it. If I get the buff now, okay, there it is. It only increases it by like 2.8%. So we only got skill crit at 30%. We need it to be around like 50 to actually work, which means that I need to get my Blue Beetle maximized. But that one won't be enough as well. And there comes the most important piece of like equipment for Viessa, and that is the reactor. Just like any class, mine is rolled horribly though. Like the only thing that is good on this one is skill cooldown, and that is mandatory. You need to have skill cooldown on this one if you want this build to be working properly, because there is no other way for us to decrease the cooldowns unless you want to run with focus and chill all the time, which means that you need to drop something. You need to drop something, but you don't really have too many options right here. Like one could be like spear and shield, but you will still be like very squishy without this extra defense. So it's up to you if you want it, but I think the best rolled here would be like with a skill crit hit rate. If I could add like let me see if I have any on me. Okay, there we go. We have like this one for the frozen one. So we're just gonna add that one to see like the difference. So right now we are looking at just that one mode added a flat like 5%. We got like 5% crit from that one, and now if we like get the buff, if we check it right here, it is gonna end up with like 35. So it's not even so once we get this one to maximum, I'm not really sure the stats of the Blue Beetle, because the game doesn't tell, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I'm not really sure like what's the final one. Do you get like if you get like 50% or like 40% crit, then it's gonna be good. Then it's gonna be good, but then maybe you could like still get this one removed, because there is like 2 different stats you can add here to like increase your damage by like a ton. So, and one of them is the Colossus. Like, so this is probably the single largest and like strongest stat that Viessa can get if you want to see like the big numbers. Problem is like we don't have anywhere to add it. So since our perfect roll would be on a reactor, would be skill critical hit rate along with the cooldown reduction. But yeah, if you want to see like the biggest number you can, additional skill attack when attacking Colossus, and this is gonna be like on bosses, this is gonna be the highest, because as I said, Viessa has like a high multiplier already on a base damage along with that, and plus crit. But yeah, we can't miss that for like that 5 or 6% crit that you get from the actual reactor is like, it's too big of a loss. I can't farm mine right now. So yeah, if you guys need to farm the specific reactor, you have to wait for a specific day. So I really hate this system. If you go under here and check, so right now there is only once for the fusion. We are looking for attack since our main skill is tech, right? So there is only these two that we can actually farm on for the reactors, is general rounds and high powered, and we need one for either clairvoyance, which is special ammo, or high powered for the blue beetle. And we can't do it right now. We have to wait basically until the next schedule. As this video goes out, it's 3 days and 8 hours. Then I see like a couple of here. Like this one is for a dimension. This is not what we need. So it would be somewhere around. I think it was Hagios or somewhere. Okay, we have one White Knight Gulch. There is one for like this is probably going to be the one that we're going to be farming. We have that option there, and we have one for. Where was it? There should be like one for the other gun. So there is one for other gun as well here in Hagios. So there is going to be like the options, but yeah, we have to wait. I really hate this system that we can't farm the specific ones, so I don't really have like a good reactor right now. Now we're just going to talk about components quickly. This one is pretty straightforward. As I said, like polar set is problem with polar set, there is no a single defense roll on like the main stat, right? So we have a max shield here, health and health. I can just add them right now, so it's showed. So if I would add like my full polar set, I would literally have 0 defense now. Wait, okay, this is my full polar set now, and because of the main stat on every single one of them, there is 0 defense. Like I'm not sure like why is it like this, but it's absolutely horrible, which means that you need to roll defense on anything that can roll defense. I'm not exactly sure like can every stat roll it, like can every piece roll it. That one is mandatory. Like you need to have at least 12,000 base defense in order for like spear and shield to actually do something. Right now I have 8,000, and that is with the mode. If I would remove mode, I would literally have like 0 defense, man. It would be so bad. So we need to roll pretty much like max, like for example here, we need to roll defense mode here, and we need to roll it here, and it needs to be like legendary. That would be like your best in slots. Maybe with this too, it would be like workable, but yeah, the more defense you get, you want to be around like 20,000 to 30,000. That's when the capping starts to like, after that, like it's not worth going after more than 20 or 25,000. I'm not sure like what exactly is. There is a math behind it, but you want to be around 20,000 to be safe. And the second main stat is the MP recovery in combat. The more of this you got, and like the MP modifiers in general, it's the better this build will feel. So wherever you can get it, get it. I think like this two could roll with it. So if you get like the two that can roll that one, you're gonna be pretty much good. What that will allow you is pretty much to just be able to spam even like during the combat. As you can see, like it's still regioning. It's kind of slow now because I don't have like the good rolls on it. But with a good roll, you will pretty much be able to like spam. You don't need to spam every ability. Like the only 2 abilities you should really use is basically the wave and your ultimate, but you don't want to like spam as crazy, because if you don't get any like special like, mana drops on the bosses, you might run out of mana issues, and that's probably like the worst thing you can do for the build. So you can see like right there, those 10 stacks that are showing beside my character, that's like and obviously I had to run out of ammo. Classic, man. So that's like, this is the easy way to actually stack the 4 set bonus. As you can see, it can go up to 10. It still takes a while. Problem is, like, it's not guaranteed. It's like 30% for it to proc, which is kind of stupid. I'm not really sure why they add it like that. So every time you inflict a frostbite, it will be able to do it. Okay, now, also that's one of more important things, like, when it comes to, like, gameplay. You will significantly lose DPS if you cast your ultimate without the cold bloodness buffer. So you need to keep attention to this. This one, you need to keep attention that it's... There is also like a visual thing that is on your armband. That blue stuff is when the buff is actually up. But yeah, like if you cast it without it, like your cooldown is gonna be... I'm not really sure why is it like this long right now. Oh yeah, I did remove the... As you can see, like a big difference. I just want to show you like how big of a difference like the module makes if you don't have a skill cooldown on it. So right now our cooldown right here is 10.7 seconds, right? 10.7 seconds is a cooldown without the mode. If I add that one, like let me find, where is it, the frozen one? It is not. Yeah, this one. So this is the legendary rolled one. So difference between those two like not having it and equipped. 6.3 seconds, so we basically lost like 3 seconds, and 3 seconds on her ultimate is like a lot. So as I said, like 6.3 is fine. If you can get it like lower than this, as I said, with my current setup, it's usually like there 6.3, 6.2. If you wanted to hit the hardest, you can. This would be the setup to go with. Additional Colossus one and skill critical hit. This is gonna be the one if you want to see like one hit that hits the hardest, but you're gonna have like very big like cooldowns on your ultimate. So to show you just how strong that 10%, like this one gives you another, I need like more ammo though. This gives you another 60% skill crit. So if you go right now and we check it, like right now it's 888. If I get the buff to max, let's see if I can actually keep it to 10. And now it refuses to crit though. That is why like we need it. Okay, you see there, it hit for 1 million. There's a big difference, like you gain like 200k damage just from that 60% critical hit damage. As I said, her base skill power is insane. Her modifiers are insane, so that's why anything that can add the skill crit, like skill crit hit damage, is gonna be absolutely insane on Viessa. And that is pretty much it for the build. As I said, you drop a cold blood and you pretty much just start spamming abilities. In between you can like fire your gun, but you really don't have like that much time. That's why like unupgraded clairvoyance is not that good, because it takes a long time to get the buff going. You pretty much just want to run around and like make sure to cast your skills and keep both of the ultimates on the boss. And that's pretty much it. That is it for the build guide. If you guys found this guide helpful, comment below and like and subscribe on the video, and thank you very much.